Your participation is important.
Hello, good morning, and welcome to yet another edition of The Burning Issue here on the Happy World of 5FM Radio. We are also live on radio stations. We are live on Tuta FM in Mansa on 90.7 FM, covering the rest of Luapula province. Also live on Muchinga Radio in Chinsali, covering Muchinga province on 88.1 FM. We are also live in Chingola, and covering the rest of the Copper Belt is iWave FM Radio on 90.1 FM. Also live in Ndola on Platinum FM Radio on 99.7. Spice FM in Kabwe is live and covering the entire Central Province on 91.1. And of course, here in Lusaka and the surrounding areas, it's on 89.9 Lusaka. You can also follow our conversation live on our Facebook page, and that's 5FM Radio Zambia. And most importantly, later on in the course of the program, I'll give you an opportunity as listeners to call in and interact with our guest. Welcome to The Burning Issue. This is the program that tackles the most burning topics affecting our nation. And I'm your host, Zachariah Banda. And today we are discussing a critical issue that affects us all, especially our children: the revised new curriculum. The revised curriculum, which was launched in 2022, aims to provide a more holistic and inclusive system that prepares learners for the challenges of the 21st century. But what exactly does this revised curriculum entail? What changes can parents, teachers, and learners expect in this new curriculum? And how will these changes impact the quality of education in our country? To answer these questions and more, we are joined today by Dr. Charles Ndakala, the Director of Curriculum Development at the Ministry of Education. Dr. Ndakala has been instrumental in shaping the revised curriculum, and we are honored to have him share his insights with us today. Doc, welcome to the program, and it's good to have you.
Thank you very much, and good morning, listeners.
Let's dive right into it. What necessitated the revision of the curriculum, and why was the curriculum revised?
Okay. Thank you very much. And as you may be aware, our Republican president, when he opened Parliament on 10th September 2021, I think he directed that the curriculum needs to be reformed. And in his directive, he actually was very categorical. He said, we want to ensure that the education curriculum is responsive to individual and societal needs, as well as being recognized internationally. The one. Then the second one is that when we developed the 2013 curriculum, the plans were that we need to review the implementation after 5 years, which is a midterm review. We didn't do that. And then we were also supposed to do a total evaluation and review of the implementation after 10 years of implementation. So when we started implementing in 2024, so basically the presidential directive coincided with the 10 years of implementation of the curriculum. So the 10 years had elapsed, which required that we needed to evaluate the implementation. And then there was this presidential directive as well.
Yeah.
And not only that, there are other things that have happened that required that the education system responds to them.
Yeah.
We have issues to do with the education policy. That 2013 curriculum was based on the 1996 policy. We have a new education policy. The 2013 curriculum was meant to respond to national needs with regards to ensuring that we provide the skills required for the 6th National Development Plan. We are now in the 8th National Development Plan. And then we have also issues that are called emerging issues. These have to do with the issues to do with climate change,
Right.
education for sustainable development, national issues like anti-corruption, national values and principles. So all those put together necessitated that we really needed to reform the education curriculum.
Mm. But what are the main objectives of reforming the curriculum?
The main objectives of reforming the curriculum, one, we need to interpret government policy.
Okay.
We can't, the government policies have changed.
Yes.
So the new education system needs to interpret government policy. The second one is that we need to define the basic values and principles of the education system. Things have changed. The last one was done a long time, more than 10 years ago. So a lot of things have changed. So we need to provide that guidance. Then we also need to provide the guidelines to the education providers. A lot of things have come on board in the education sector. So by reforming the curriculum, it means we will reform the guidelines, the standards, and others that go with the provision of education. And then the last one was basically to provide the effective curriculum implementation strategies. So those are some of the objectives.
But have the stakeholders, such as teachers, parents, and civil society especially, played any role in the curriculum reform?
Yeah, this one, especially this 2023 education curriculum, I think has had the widest consultations, because what happened was even just when we started the reform process itself,
yes,
we had established a team comprising all the directors in the ministry,
right,
the Examination Council of Zambia,
okay,
Teveta, from the universities, and from the universities and colleges of education. So that team started by engaging the stakeholders in 30 districts, 3 districts per province. So we went around and engaged the stakeholders, one, to identify the gaps that we had in the 2013 curriculum. 2, what were the challenges in the 2013 curriculum implementation. And then thirdly, we gave them a chance to propose what should be in the new curriculum.
Okay.
So besides that, we also now wrote to all the stakeholders, the teacher unions, our cooperating partners, faith-based institutions, academia, and the likes. So they also made submissions again, looking at those 3 areas in terms of the gaps, the challenges, and the proposals. So based on what they submitted, then we developed the first draft of this curriculum framework. And then when we developed the framework, we again called the stakeholders just to make sure and touch base that based on your submissions, this is now what we have developed.
The draft, yeah.
Yes, and they validated that. And then after the validation, again, we had internal consultations as government. Okay. The line ministries put on this document was put on the e-government portal. Yeah. The line ministries made the submissions and the like. So after that, after we fulfilled the government procedures, then it was presented to cabinet and then it was approved. So after it was approved, again, because this is only a guiding document to the curriculum implementation,
right?
They are what we call syllabuses.
Yes.
And then syllabuses, again, to develop the syllabuses, we have what we call subject experts. So in each of the subjects, we have a committee. We are the committee of about 9. So in that committee, we had about 4 practicing teachers. We had representation from the universities. We had representation in each committee. We had representation from the colleges of education. We had representation from the subject associations. So those experts are the ones that developed the syllabus, because they are the ones on the ground and the like. So after the development of the syllabus, so I'm saying this so that you understand how wide the consultation were. Yes. So after that, we piloted the syllabuses. Again, in piloting, it's the teachers who are piloting and the other key stakeholders that are found at the school level. So after piloting, then we consolidated the comments and validated. So again, in the validation process, the same stakeholders of teachers, lecturers, subject association came together and validated. So now we are developing the teaching and learning materials again through the same experts. So it's been a very consultative process.
Quite. It sounds like it is. But then the ministry officially launched the new curriculum and announced that the new curriculum would be implemented in phases, starting with 2025, which is this year. Explain what that means.
Yes. When you develop a curriculum, implementation is actually phased. That's a normal international standard done everywhere in all the countries that are implementing a new curriculum. And the phased approach of implementation targets the entry levels to the education system and the transition levels. The entry levels are the early childhood and primary. So those who don't go to primary, those who don't go to early childhood do start with grade 1. Those who have a chance to go to early childhood, they will be in early childhood level 1. So those are the entry levels. Then the transition levels, when you are transiting from lower primary, according to the new curriculum, is from grade 1 to grade 3. Then when you are transiting from primary to secondary, the transition will be at grade 6. So you target those who are transiting the Form 1.
Yes.
We'll be doing Form 1 to Form 4 ordinary level. So there's also a transition. When you finish 4 years, you transition into the A level. So these are the levels that we target when you are phasing the implementation.
Is this the reason why the calendar for grade 8 and those in early childhood has changed this year?
Yes, and in fact, if you heard when the minister announced in implementing the curriculum, we'll do a phased approach. For Zambia, we are starting with the early childhood for the 3 to 4 years, which we call level 1.
Yeah, that's right.
And then grade 1, and then Form 1.
Right.
Yes, and the calendar changed because the minister, like he announced, he said, he was very categorical. We are going to delay, not changing, just delay the opening by 1 month so that we can have enough time to orient the teachers. You know, the teachers are the ones, the implementers of the curriculum.
That's right.
Especially that there's a change in the curriculum. The old one is outcome-based. This one is competence-based. The pedagogy, that is the way of teaching, is going to change. So it is important to orient the teachers. And then secondly, it has also given the ministry time to print these same frameworks, the syllabuses, and the teaching and learning materials, so that come February 10th, the teachers will be ready and the materials will also be ready.
Great. Now, the implementation, like you said, is phased, starting with 2025. But how then do we roll out the rest? What's the plan on the rest?
So what happens in 2025, we'll have ECE level 1, and then grade 1, and then Form 1. This is 2025.
That's right.
When we move to 2026, it means we'll be adding new grades.
Okay.
Because these were in ECE level 1, next year they'll be in level 2.
Yes.
Yeah, so it means for ECE level 1 and level 2, we'll already be on the new curriculum.
Okay.
These were in grade 1, next year will be in grade 2.
Grade 2.
So it means we already have grade 1 and grade 2 in the new curriculum.
That's right.
These who are in Form 1, next year they will be in Form 2.
Yeah.
So it means we already have Form 1 and Form 2 on the new curriculum. Then just in addition to these others, next year we are also including, like I had mentioned, that we also target transition levels.
Yes.
We are going to include the grade 4, which is the transition phase, the transition grade from the lower primary, which is 1 to grade 3.
Yes.
Grade 4 to grade 6 is upper primary. So we're including grade 4. So we also include grade 4 next year. And then we will also include another transition level. When you finish Form 4, people are supposed to start A levels. So we are also including the A levels, yes,
after Form 4, which is grade 12.
For the sake of for the now it's grade 12.
Yes,
and then the first year for the colleges of education. So those are the other added levels that we are going to put on.
Interesting. Now, I think the fact that there is an aspect of A levels, it's important that we spend a bit of time to explain what that will entail, especially transitioning into university.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. With the new education system, the plan is that A levels should be done in schools, so that we hive off the first year that students spend in the university doing the A levels.
That's right.
So meaning at an opportune time when all things are being equal, when we've started implementing the A levels and they've started for the exams and the like, the universities now hive off the A levels, knowing the A levels have been done in school, because going forward, the qualification to go into a university will be A levels. Yes. So you don't need, for this time we are using O levels. So
yes, we are using
in about
levels.
4 years somewhere there, to go into a university,
you
will need the A levels.
Okay.
Yes. So this is how we want to move. And then when you finish Form 4, if you want to go into A levels, don't think you will go into A levels when you have failed the Form 4 exams.
Okay,
yeah,
so
the ordinary level, Form 1 to Form 4 is ordinary.
Okay.
So first of all, if you want to go into the A levels, you have to finish the Form 1 to Form 4 ordinary level and get at least a school certificate. You need a school certificate, because the entry qualifications into A levels will be that you should have a school certificate,
a grade 12 school certificate.
Yeah.
And then
Form 4.
Form 4.
You should have a Form 4. Yes, for now. You should have that school certificate.
Okay.
And then secondly, you should have 3 credits or better in the area of specialization. Yeah, because for the A levels, it's not doing A levels for the fun of it. You already have to specialize. If you want to be a doctor, it means you need to take the sciences and others. If you need to take subjects to do with the creative and performing arts, you need those literature, languages. Yeah.
3 or better. So what happens in this case? I mean, so it's only those 3 or better in specialized ones. It has nothing to do with English, mathematics, as has been the case in the past, that at least there must be English and mathematics plus others. So in this case, are you saying it's strictly for what you want to specialize in?
Yeah, but already that issue you're talking about is taken care of the school certificate.
Yes.
How do you get a school certificate?
Yes, it is.
I think English somehow also is considered.
Yeah.
So you should have a school certificate. Some of those conditions they're talking about come in. How do you get a school certificate
level?
Yes.
Yes. But transitioning into a specialization into A levels,
you don't need the A levels in English to go and do sciences.
That's the thing. And I think that's the point I'm saying.
Yes.
At that point of going to A level, the picture changes. It
changes because now you need to concentrate on the areas of specialization,
right?
The subjects that matter to the pathway that you have taken. Yes.
And you'd want to also say, for the sake of this particular conversation, you would want to say, isn't this the point where you would probably want to strengthen? It may not be an area of your concern, but if you feel you can add a voice, please do. Is this the point where you feel you need to have a strong career master aspect in school? Because going into A levels, you need to bring out children that have an idea of what they want to do into A levels, but then mold them and nurture them in that direction.
It's true. And you may be aware that the ministry, I think for 2 years now, is it 2 or 3 years, stopped automatic progression from primary school into secondary school. That's one. 2, the new curriculum that we have started implementing, the learners are going to start the specialization right from Form 1. The current system we have is that's why you find they take so many subjects and the like.
It's too general.
Yes, they sit for grade 9 examinations. Then they start specializing at secondary at grade 10. This one is different because as they go into
grade
Form
8,
1,
yes, Form 1,
we will use their performance at grade 6. Were they good in this mathematics, science, or did they perform in this expressive arts, home economics, and the like? So based on that, it will help us put the learners into their pathway where we feel they can excel. Of course, there will also be need for consultations because some learner may be good in everything. So and then they are good in all the subjects, and then you put them maybe in the sciences. Then they say, no, me I want to do performing and creative arts, so you need to put me in there. So there will be those
consultations from time to time.
Yes, but as schools, we will put them in
based on their strengths.
Yes, and then of course there's room for movements from one pathway to the other.
Great. Now, how many years will learners spend in early childhood education, primary section, and A levels?
Okay, with the current one,
yes,
I don't know if we can say the odd. The current one, they spend 4 years in early childhood. We have changed now; they will be spending 3. For primary, the current one they spend 7. Grade 1 to grade 7.
Yes.
The new one, they will spend 6 years. So they will run from grade 1 to grade 6. The secondary one, they spend 5 years in secondary. The new one, they will spend 6 years secondary, divided into 2 levels. Form 1 to Form 4, which is 4 years for what is called ordinary level secondary education. And then 2 years of advanced level education. So that's all secondary, but all level and advanced level. So they will do 2 years at advanced level.
When do we expect to see full implementation of the 2023 Zambia Education Curriculum Framework, which is this particular one?
Yeah. This particular one, if you want to see full implementation, the learners learning all the way from grade 1 until they reach Form 4, it's 2034. These that are in grade 1, because these that are in grade 1, they will continue with the new curriculum until they reach Form 4. So it will take them from grade 1 until they reach Form 4. That's the time that we will have seen the full implementation, and we will judge the quality of the learners exhibiting the desired competencies, because
of course
these others, a few may have done 3 years the old, and then they get into the new curriculum. But these that are in grade 1, up until they reach Form 4, they will have used the new curriculum throughout their education system.
Right. I'm running through this quickly because I want to open the phone lines early, because this is a people's program, and I know that this particular subject, our stakeholders, in this case parents, will be eager to want to ask more questions for clarity's sake. Now, just take us through the writing of examinations in grade 6 and the introduction of forms.
Okay. Like I had said, the current education system at primary school has 7 years. So you write the primary school leaving examinations after you've finished grade 7.
Yes.
In the new education system, the primary education will run from grade 1 to grade 6. That is 6 years. So at the end of the grade 6, you'll be expected to sit for the primary school leaving examinations.
Okay.
For the secondary, the current arrangement is that when you do education system from the upper grades, grade 10, grade 11, and grade 12, after you finish grade 12, you are supposed to write the school leaving exams, secondary school leaving exams.
Yeah.
So with the new education system where we are running Form 1 to Form 4, so at the end of Form 4, you'll be expected to sit for the secondary school leaving examinations at Form 4. Yes.
So we're not going to have the grade 9 into 10 exams.
No,
That is the form 2 into form 3 in this case. There will be no exams.
No, there will be
so
no
from
exam.
form 1 all the way, the next exam you meet is form 4.
Yes.
Interesting.
Yeah, that is if we are talking about what is called summative assessment, which are the exams.
Yes.
But we also have introduced what we call school-based assessment, which are local exams, not necessarily set by the Examination Council of Zambia. So we have enhanced school-based assessment.
Right.
In the current setup, we only do school-based assessment for practical subjects. But where we are going with the new curriculum, school-based assessment will be done for all the subjects. Yeah.
Are these the ones we were calling end of term tests?
Yes, the end of term
so they
tests,
continue.
Yeah, they continue. The end of term, except now they are of an elevated importance.
Okay.
Yes, because we really need to monitor the performance of these learners over a period of time.
Yeah. But according to the new curriculum, who will be the first to write examinations in grade 6? And will this be in grade 6 and in form 4?
Yes. Okay.
Will this be the first ones to write?
No. Let me explain.
Okay.
When I was explaining about the implementation of the curriculum in a phased manner,
right,
I explained about who we are going to bring on board next year.
Yes.
And I had mentioned one transition phase of the grade 4.
Yes.
The grade 4 of 2026, who are this year in grade 3. So in next year, they will start the new curriculum in grade 4.
Right.
It means in 2028, they will be in grade 6.
Yes.
And these will be the first to write the grade 6 examinations.
Right.
And then these who are in Form 1 this year,
yes,
they will be in Form 4 in 2028. That 2028 is an important year for us because we had to structure the implementation in such a way that we don't create challenges, especially with regards. So in 2028, you will have the first Form 4 waiting for the exams using the new curriculum. In the same, there will be the grade 12s who will be sitting for the exams. That will be the last grade 12 exam in 2028.
Yes.
So those two, the Form 4 new curriculum and the grade 12 old curriculum will sit for the exams in 2028. They will be leaving. They will create space for the grade 6 who will be writing the exams in 2028, and the grade 7, the last exam for the grade 7, which will also be in 2028.
Right. Does the 2023 Zambia Education Curriculum Framework mean all those who will actually write Form 4 will need to go for A levels?
No.
Okay.
And again, let me refer to the current situation.
Right.
When you finish Form 5, is it everyone who goes to the university?
No.
So even this current the new education curriculum,
yes,
when you finish Form 4, we have different home backgrounds.
Oh yeah.
Some people, when they finish Form 4, may decide, me going to A level, I do 2 years, and later I go to the university. May decide to, after finishing Form 4, just decide to go to college, which will take a lesser duration.
Yes.
So that within a short period of time, they will have finished at a college and start maybe work and doing their own things. So when you finish Form 4, to go into A levels is not
mandatory.
Yeah,
okay.
It's up to an individual.
Okay.
But you should have a school certificate. And
the same,
yes,
because you need it to a
yes,
college.
Yes, yeah. If you have to do the A levels, you will have to have a school certificate and then at least 3 credits in the area of specialization.
Right.
But if you don't want to go into A levels, you can go to other colleges, of course. But even other colleges,
they will need a school certificate.
Yes. We are not saying those who go to colleges don't, but no. Even colleges also have conditions that you need to fulfill. So almost the same arrangement which is there now is the same one after you finish Form 4, except there's now that advanced level which you can opt to go for or just go into the colleges. The choice is up to an individual.
So let's discuss a situation where, because A levels are not mandatory, and
Yes.
I choose with my grade 12 certificate to go to a college,
Yes.
and I go and obtain my diploma, for example, and then I need to go to the university
Yes.
to advance my education.
Yeah.
What happens at that point?
The university will accept, because the diploma is deemed to
At least be at the same level with A levels.
Yeah,
So
at least if not gone beyond the A level, the diploma is deemed to be actually sufficient. I think it has passed slightly the advanced
it
level.
exempts you from the
Yes,
A level
because it means you have already done
specialization.
Yes.
Yeah, right. Interesting. So welcome once again to the Burning Issue Thursday edition. This is, and today we are having an important conversation around new education curriculum that will be implemented this year. And I must say that our guest this morning is very able already, and we have understood quite a lot. And soon we'll be opening the phone lines. And our guest is Dr. Charles Ndakala. He is the Director of Curriculum Development at the Ministry of Education. So then, quickly before I open the phone lines, let me push in this question. So what mechanisms then has the government put in place to ensure that curriculum is adhered to?
Yeah. One, when you do a curriculum, that's supposed to be a national document. So once we finalize everything, we will give even the guidelines. So to ensure that the curriculum is adhered to, we will distribute as widely as possible and orient the people so that they understand that this is a new curriculum. And then secondly, we as a ministry have directorates, of course, with different mandates. We have directorate to do with early childhood, we have one to do with primary, we have one to do with secondary, we have one to do with the university education, we have standards, we have National Science Center. So these directorates have the mandate to monitor what is happening in school. So as we implement the new curriculum, they will also be ensuring that there is adherence to the new curriculum. And then the other one that we have put in place is that going forward, even the deployment of the teachers,
right,
is supposed to be, we want to be deploying teachers anyhow, because what we are going to do in the near future is that we would want schools to have a limited number of pathways. So even the deployment of teachers is based on the pathways that the schools are going to offer, including the teaching and learning materials.
Okay.
Supposing you are a school that are specializing in STEM,
right,
we may not give you equipment that has to do with physical education and sports.
Yes.
If it is not at that school.
So
we'll put measures in place and ensure that the schools are following them in terms of the pathways, how many they supposed to offer, and the like. Yeah.
Right. But how would this revised curriculum enhance the education standards in the country?
Yeah. Okay. First of all, we have moved from an outcome-based curriculum into a competence-based. An outcome-based curriculum had to do with issues to do with knowledge, skills, and values. But even if it had to do with the knowledge, skills, and values, mostly the learners were meant to, is it right, or talk about, maybe, let me say right, instead of demonstrating that they have acquired the competence. This time they are supposed to demonstrate that they have acquired the skills, knowledge, and values. Previously, you would just be maybe required to explain, do you have the knowledge on waste management? And how do you manage the waste? Someone can explain. But in practical terms, when given the same waste, you find they may not be able to do. So that's one. And then because this curriculum now is tailored to meet the aspirations of the 8th National Development Plan in terms of skills provision. So it's going to enhance the issues to do with quality. And then the new curriculum has also embraced what we call emerging issues. Those are the issues that I've talked about. I talked about earlier, the issues to do with entrepreneurship, climate change, education for sustainable development, anti-corruption, and now we also even have our national values and principles. We want someone, when they go through our education system, you should be able to tell, that is a Zambian from the way they are behaving, because we are pretty sure that once these competences we have put in place are imparted, it will have an effect on how we behave as Zambians.
Yeah. And also, what really is the appeal at this point to parents and teachers as the country gets to embark on this very important journey to implement the new curriculum?
The first one, I think the appeal should be to the teachers. I think the appeal is in the sense that they need to be patient with us, and we know that the teachers are the ones who implement the curriculum. To this effect, we have planned an orientation for all the teachers, and in the interest of time, because we have, I think, about 160,000, 70,000 teachers currently.
Right.
So to finish all of them will take a lot of time.
Right.
So in our implementation of the orientation plan, we have started with those teachers that are teaching ECE level 1, grade 1, and Form 1. We started with what we are calling the trainer of trainers, 50 of them. And after that, we trained what we are calling the master trainers, who came from the provinces, 24 from each province. And then those master trainers picked up the training and conducted the training in the districts from the provinces where they are coming from. So we have trainer of trainers, master trainers, then we have district trainers, who started now the training of the teachers on the 60th. They started on 60th January. Sorry, 13th January. They started on this Monday on 13th January, and we are hoping in 3 weeks time, we'll have trained about 80,000 teachers, who are more than the number of teachers teaching EC Form 1 and grade 1.
Wow.
Yeah, and then to the parents, we are also saying even them are going to be oriented, and because this is taking a cascaded model. We can't rush to the parents, because we know when we have started with the teachers and the education administrators, and then after that, the education administrators be expected to orient the parents, because then this is supposed to be done maybe through the parents and teacher meetings that we usually hold in the schools. So let them be patient with us. And then besides that, our appeal is that let the parents support this new curriculum, because it's going to do wonders for their children. And as we appeal to them, let them support the children, because in one way or another, maybe they will be required also to take part, to monitor their teaching and learning. Maybe they will be required to provide 1 or 2 of the required teaching and learning materials. So we need to collaborate with the parents, because they are also a key stakeholder in this education system.
At what point, let me ask the last 2 questions. At what point are we starting to see specialization in terms of, at what point are we expecting teachers to start identifying strengths that align with specialization in these children?
We are starting as early as grade 3, because by the time they go into grade 4, the new curriculum has been structured in such a way that The grade 1 to grade 3 have 3 learning areas. Literacy and language. Then they have what is called pre-maths and science. And then we have what is called creative and technology studies. So you find grade 1 to grade 3, when the learners are doing well, even in the issues to do with creativity and the like, because at the upper primary school, there will be 8 subjects offered, but instead of taking all the 8, the learners will take 7. So one subject will not be taken. So, and that is between expressive arts and home economics.
Okay.
So if someone was good in expressive arts, they will take the expressive arts from grade 4.
Yes.
If they were good in home economics, they will go into the home economics. And when they finish, because they would have already now taken that now at Form 1, they go into higher level now, specialization based on the results now that they are going to obtain. Yeah, because now we have at from grade 4 to grade 6, they have mathematics, you have Zambian language, you have English, you have science, you have expressive arts, you have home economics. And so based on the results that they are going to get, like I had mentioned earlier, that will determine the pathway that they need to take at secondary school. Yes.
At Form 1. Interesting. And how do we, because you did make mention that this curriculum appeals to needs, or it responds to needs of society. Let's look at a bigger need that is of everyone's concerns. How will this new curriculum going to strengthen job market in Zambia?
It's going to strengthen the job market because, like I said at the beginning, we looked at the gaps, challenges, and then people made proposals on what they want. I would give you examples. One, the job market requires that maybe we need people with adequate knowledge in history, adequate knowledge in geography. The curriculum we're using now had combined this into social studies. So you find the level of depth wasn't as expected because of the combination. So we have split them. Same applies to the sciences. We now have physics, chemistry, biology separate as opposed to the integrated science. We also have now new subjects like travel and tourism to respond to the national. You may be aware, if you go to any of these tourist sites, especially the big ones, go to Livingstone, the tour guides, there are very few are Zambians. If they are Zambians, you'll find that maybe they did their education in Zimbabwe, or South Africa, and others, because we didn't have that in school. So that's one of the areas. The other one is the computer science. We have been introduced in the new curriculum computer science. There are issues to do with artificial intelligence. We want our learners to make
that. I was coming to that to say, how do we respond to this artificial intelligence with this curriculum? How is this curriculum responding to artificial intelligence, which seem to be taking up the space?
The first one is the making of information and communication technology compulsory, because we want everyone to be digital literate. That's one. But besides the literacy, to make sure that we leverage on the advancements of artificial intelligence. This is why we've introduced computer science, so that we can have that cadre of learners who should be able to do the programming, the coding, the development of drones, issues to do with robotics and the like. So this is why we have introduced some of these subjects, so that we just make sure we respond to not only the needs of the country, but also global needs, because we are not an island. We
live in a global village.
Yes, we are in a global village, and our learners may find employment elsewhere.
Absolutely. Well, this is the Thursday edition of The Burning Issue. My guest is Dr. Charles Ndakala, who is Director Curriculum Development at the Ministry of Education. We will be taking phone calls on 0955-221515. And let's start by taking this particular call. I'll ask that you put on your headset so that you can call us clearly. Good morning.
Yes, good morning, Zach.
Good morning to you. How are you?
I'm fine, and how are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Your name, sir, and where are you calling us from?
This is Kapila Nicholas calling from Kabwe.
Kapila Nicholas from Kabwe.
Yes.
Please go ahead, Mr. Kapila.
Yeah. Good morning, Doc.
Morning, Mr. Kapila.
Thank you. Yeah, I've got two questions. One, with this revised curriculum, is distance learning going to continue? That's one. Two, what is the diploma or the duration of diploma programs and degree programs respectively? I thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kapila Nicholas from Kabwe, for that question. Just take note, Doc. Let me take two more calls on 0955-221515. That's the number you're calling us on today's edition of the Benny Issue. I'll give you another one from Facebook. Brian Mutembo Pufi, who says, is it true that you have removed local languages in the new curriculum? Maybe let's respond to those, then we'll take another set of calls.
Thank you very much. Let me start with the first one.
Right.
Will distance learning continue? Distance learning is an alternative mode to the conventional face-to-face teaching and learning that we are used to. Distance learning is going to continue because there are many reasons why maybe people fail to finish school or why they opt to come out of school. And these should be given a chance to continue with their education system. So the education system will continue providing for such, knowing we have different conditions under which we live in, which makes it difficult at times to finish the education system in the planned time. There are issues to do with pregnancy, there are issues to do with even just maybe failing to pay what is required. So this distance education will continue. Of course, it's in different modes. We have what is called open learning. We also have what is called e-learning, electronic learning. So depending on the mode, that suits that learner who wants to continue with what is suitable for them. The degree diplomas, yes, we'll continue offering this. And, as an education system, the education system runs from early childhood education up until the degrees and the like. So as a ministry, we are in charge of policy, and we have now made a policy imperative that going forward, yes, we'll continue with the degree, but the issue of especially the A-levels, I know the question is being asked in
now
relation
that
to
we
the
don't
A-levels.
have the so does the duration of getting a degree reduce from probably the ordinary one being 4 to 3?
Yes, though I want to talk about the exact years in the university because there are different courses.
But
what we are saying is that we expect a reduction by a year because the learners will have done the A-levels, which they do in the first year in the universities.
Right.
Is it true that you have removed local language? You first of all, you may be aware that we only had 7 local languages that we're using. These are the only ones recognized
in the curriculum.
Even in the constitution, we only have as these, we recognize them as official.
The 7.
We have recognized them as official.
Right.
And these are the languages that we teach even in the schools. And in implementing the language policy, of course, researchers have agreed that it actually beneficial to the learner to learn using the language they are using at home in school. So we are saying if you are using Chinyanja at home, you learn easily when you continue with the Chinyanja in school, and research has proved that. But in our implementation of the language policy, the ministry found itself in problems. First of all, one, the teachers themselves had challenges to teach in the local language.
Right.
You post someone in maybe a northern province, they don't know how to speak Bemba.
Yeah, that's right.
That there and then starts the problem. The teacher is not conversant. But the second one is that the learners were not speaking the language, or let me say, the learners' language that they speak home was not the language that was being used in school in most of the areas, most of the districts. Let me give you an example of Chongwe. What language they use in Chongwe?
Soli.
Soli, yeah.
Yes.
So in all the homes they are using Soli. The learners go to school. So in their homes they are using Soli and they are learning Soli.
And Soli is not among the
yes,
seven.
and Soli is not in school. They are using Chinyanja.
Yeah.
So you are learning Soli home. You go to school, you have to learn Nyanja. This applies to even many other districts.
It does.
You are learning Chitumbuka home. You go into school, you are told you have to use Bemba. So we realize because of this, the learners were not reaching the language proficiency required to promote the teaching and learning. So what is it that we did? So we introduced English as the official language. That's one. But with the insistence that when you are teaching and the learners are not clear, explain in the local language, not in the seven, in the local language. When you are in Chongwe, the learners are not clear, explain in Soli. You are using English to teach, they are not clear, use the Soli. You are in Tumbuka land, you are teaching in English, the learners are not clear, you explain in Tumbuka. You are in Copper Belt.
But in the first place, this teacher we posted in Lundazi, we posted them and they are Bemba. They can't use Tumbuka there. Again.
Exactly. There are many issues. There are many issues related
I feel
to that.
you. I feel you.
Yes, and there's also the element of one Zambia, one nation. And then you are in Copper Belt. You are using Lamba home. You go into the school. They tell you have to use Bemba. So this and many other factors that are meant to unify the nation. Yeah. We've brought English as a medium of instruction, but where they are not clear, explain in the local language. Yeah. But meanwhile, in the background, we are working hard to ensure that we have what we call the orthography. Why is it that we only have 7 recognized Zambian languages? This is because in languages, there's what is called orthography. That is a standard way of writing, spelling, and pronouncing. So that orthography is only in 7 Zambian languages. So even if we want to promote the other local languages, it may be difficult for now. So what did we do? In the background, meanwhile, we are going to bring other languages on board because we have revised the 1977 Zambian languages orthography, and we developed orthography for other languages like Tumbuka, Namwanga, Soli, Lamba, and so we are bringing other local languages on board. And sooner than later, we will have orthography in all the Zambian languages. Then we could be very sure that we can teach using our local language in that particular area.
So considering that if an explanation is not clear in English and a local language is used to just explain it, can the same be applied in an exam? That if I do understand the question in English, but the best way I can write this or explain the answer is in my local language.
I like that. When the teacher was trying to explain, so they explained in English and you didn't get it.
Yes.
So they explained in the local language.
And
so
I
we
got
are
it.
expecting, and you got it.
Yeah.
So we expect that you understand it because the teacher had explained in English and the local language. So in the exam, we should have gotten it.
I hear you. But let's take some more calls. I've got a question here on Facebook. Phoebe Mvula says, good morning. Very informative indeed. And what I have gathered from your explanation is that the current grade 10, the current grade 10s are the last grade, or am I wrong? And they will be the last grade 12s.
No, the current grade 10s, like I said, the last grade 12s will be in 2028. You can compute backwards. It gives you these who are in grade 9.
Grade 9, yes.
Grade 9. Because this year's grade 9 will be the last grade 9 examinations. Because ECZ will not be offering. So the grade 12, it's not the G10s of this year, it's the grade 9s.
Grade 9s.
In 2028, they will be in grade in Form 4.
Yes.
In grade, the current grade 10s this year, if you would, next year, which is 2026, they will be in grade 11. In 2027,
they'll be in grade 12.
Yeah, they'll be in grade 12. So the last ones are not the current grade 10s.
They are
but the grade 9s. Yes.
Right. All right. I believe that explains it. Let me take another call. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you today?
I'm fine, and how are you?
Fine, thank you. Your name and where are you calling us from?
I am Felix Mukuka, calling from Matero.
Yes, Mr. Mukuka.
Mr. Director, how are you?
I'm good, Mukuka. How are you?
Yes, Director, I've got a question for you concerning the new curriculum.
Right.
You said A-levels will be introduced after somebody has written in Form 4.
Yes.
Now, at the moment, do we have competent teachers who can teach A-levels in Form 5? Or are you going to get lecturers from colleges and universities to come and teach A-levels at secondary school? And a second question is concerning the early childhood that you want to introduce. Now, I've observed that early childhood, it's mainly in the rural areas. In the urban area, we don't have early childhood centers. So are you telling me at every primary school, whether it's in urban or in rural, are we going to have classes for early childhood? And lastly, how many centers do we have across the country for? Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Mukuka, that question. Let me add another one from Facebook, from Zevwanji. All right. Zevwanji says, good morning, Doctor. Great program and informative. I would like to find out from you, Doctor, how the new curriculum takes into account the use of digital tools such as Google Meet, Microsoft Teams, and other tools as to deliver lessons to the learners. All right. Take note of that, and then I will give you another call. Let me pick this one. Good morning.
Yes, good morning, and how are you?
Fine, thank you, and welcome to the program.
Yes, and good morning, the guest, and also the moderator and the listeners.
Good morning, we are grateful.
Morning.
Yeah, so you are talking to Rashmagi.
Rashmagi, yes.
Yeah, I think you know the voice. For those who doesn't know, Rashmagi is and BH Chironda of Osaka.
Great. Please go ahead. Yeah.
The only point I want just to find out, yes, he explained very well, and a person who do not understand, who do now understand and listen very carefully, and those who are listening, the way he's explaining clearly, so that even those who do not understand can understand the way it's explained. But the question is different. A Form 1 and a Grade 1, which we had in previous encounters government, it seems it's very different clearly, because the way you are saying, in encounters Grade 1 up to Grade 7, Form 1 up to Form 5, And today, the way I'm listening, you are sounded a little bit different, saying people start writing exam in grade 6. From grade 6, go to Form 1, and later to Form 4, you have to write the exam. And that's what I'm listening. So the issue again, we are going to background in colonial, where there was a standard. This is what I've seen. So, again, the last before I go, I want to find out, you are the teachers, you are the one implementing the curriculums. But for me, what I understand, is the teachers through the authorities saying, if the government say want to change, and they give you the job to do it, because you are expert. So you teachers, you are the one who do this. And don't you know that sometimes, again, continue changing curriculum is about confusing students. And I heard one of the news, another radio, one of who was opposing, saying, we have changed it in 2018. Again, changing is about confusing. Now, he said, we need to change about 20 years. Is it true or not? I think, thank you very much, my brother.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Addition to that, respond to a question called, the question that has come in, will GCE, that's general, GCE, will it still be offered? Just so that you can respond. So maybe, yes, let's respond. Felix Mkuka had a couple of questions, I think.
Yeah. Let me start with the last one.
Okay.
Will GC be offered?
Yeah, yes.
When you finish the Form 4, of course, I am not from the Examination Council of Zambia, but I know if you finish Form 4 and you don't get very good grades, such that you can't go for A-levels, you can't go in any other colleges,
Yes.
the Examination Council of Zambia will still have provisions for the learners to have a second chance and sit for the examinations. So this is how the GCE, I don't know which will be called GCE, but there will be provisions for those who don't do well at Form 4 so that they can be given a chance to recite the examinations.
Great.
The second one, I think on the last caller, he was saying we are changing the education curriculum too many times. No, it's not too many times. And let me start by saying, when we developed the 2013 curriculum, like I explained, our plans was that we review, not change, we review after implementing 5 years. We didn't review. Then we were supposed to do a total review and evaluation of the implementation of the curriculum after 10 years, with a view to change now to respond to the emerging needs, new national needs. So the plan was that we were supposed to change after 10 years. The 2018, no, we have never changed since we started implementing in 2024. And again, a curriculum static. You need to change so that you embrace in new information.
All right.
Even just Zambia, our electoral system as governance, things have changed. What is in the old curriculum is different from what is on the ground.
Yes,
otherwise,
yes.
you'll be talking about things that are outdated.
Yes.
Yes, and is the other caller talked about the Form 1s are different. The Form 1s and the Grade 1s are different to the old education system. Yes, indeed, they are different. But what is important is that an education system is meant to respond to individual, national, and global needs at that time. So the education curriculum we had that time in the colonial days was responding. If in the Kaunda days, you remember there were a lot of crafts and technology courses, technician courses and things like that.
Yes.
We wanted the artisans, the painters, the builders, and the electricians, because the country was just developing and needed this cadre of people in the industry. So you find that even the education system was tilted towards that. The next one is how the curriculum is designed, especially to leverage on the digital tools. Like I had mentioned, the first one is that this is why we have made information and communication technology compulsory to all the learners, because we want them
to learn
be
these
digital
things.
literate. Yeah. So it is only when they are digital literate that is when you can use these issues to do with digital tools. And then besides that, we have also even included computer science. So it is our view that with this ICTs in school, computer science, and even in the colleges, because what happens is the syllabuses for the colleges are designed to make sure the teachers will be comfortable to teach in the schools. So all these are being implemented at all the levels. So yes, the new curriculum is ready to embrace the digital tools, because the learners will be digital literate, and the teachers themselves will be literate.
Right.
The issue of ECE mainly in urban areas, yes, as government, we realize that early childhood education provision was disadvantaging those in rural areas. So there was a policy directive that in all the primary schools, we needed to annex, we needed to convert one of the classrooms into an early childhood education center, so that we just make sure that early childhood is also found in the rural areas and not only in the urban areas. And we have done very well as a ministry. You may wish to note that I think as about 2024, we had more than 4,000 ECE centers countrywide. Yes, so I think we have done very well. Then with regards to the A-levels, after Form 4, do we have the teachers? Let me explain, I think, best first of all on the current scenario.
That's right.
At secondary, by policy, a qualified teacher to teach at secondary school is a graduate. And we have graduates. So meaning we have people who can teach A-levels. A graduate basically is, if you are a graduate in mathematics, the A-level is only in the first year. Now, what more? You have added second, third, fourth year. You have enough content and knowledge to teach the A-levels. Yes, we have the graduates around who teach the A-levels. But of course, maybe it's the issue of the adequacy in terms of numbers. Because now, the same graduates who are expected to teach the Form 3 and Form 4, we have to share with I think the advanced levels. But otherwise, we have the teachers, graduates in schools, because even now by policy, those to teach at senior secondary school are supposed to be graduates.
Interesting. There's one question. Do I need to do A-levels when I want to do social sciences such as law, marketing, and economics?
And again, that's the notion people have. Even if that person hasn't said it, they assume A-levels are STEM subjects. A-levels are in everywhere. You have the STEM subjects, you have the social sciences, you have performance in the creative arts, you have in physical education and sports. So all of these have A-levels. When you look at the framework, you look at the subjects, I think they are highlighted. We have about 26 different subjects that could be done at A-level, and they cut out the social sciences and all these other areas.
Interesting. So let's take some more calls on 0955-221515. That one, please. When you call us, just make sure your radio is off before you even call the radio station. Just make sure the radio set that you are listening us from is switched off or the volume completely reduced. Otherwise, that sound is very bad for our ears. We'll take another one on 0955-221515. That's the number that you're calling us on. And let's pick this one. Good morning.
Good morning, Zach. Good morning, Doc.
Good morning.
My name is Suare.
Yes,
calling
Mr.
you
Suare.
from within Lusaka. Very
Yes.
interesting topic for today, Zach. I need actually to commend you on this.
Thank you.
Because every day you do host the politicians, and we are tired of them.
Great.
I've tuned in a bit late, but you'll be able to forgive me if at all. I'll be able to repeat the question which you have already attended to. I wanted to find out these who are in grade 9 now, who just started grade 9 this Monday. What will happen next year? Are they going to continue pursuing the same old syllabus, or they will change as they enter next year in a new grade? That's what I wanted to find out, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr.
So much.
All right. Great. Allow me to take another one on 0955-221515 for those that would like to come through now. Please do so. Good morning.
Morning, Zach.
Morning to you. How are you?
Morning, our doctor.
Good morning.
Yeah, this is Comrade Saila calling from Kabwe.
Comrade who?
Saila from Kabwe, yes.
Okay, yes.
Yeah, first of all, I want to applaud the efforts being made to actually improve on our education system through the curriculum.
Indeed.
My concern maybe is we've talked about the period at the university being reduced by 3 years because
by a year, because
okay. Then the A level could have been done at Form 5 and Form 6. So now you're going to have 3 years to do a degree. And the curriculum also addresses the fact that for diploma courses, they'll no longer be 3 years, they'll be 2 years. Correct me if I'm wrong. If I've been reduced to 2 years, what has taken care of the other year that has been taken off? But for the universities, the A level that's been taken care of. What about for the courses that were 3 years of diploma, and there will only be 2 years? Where has the other year been taken care of? Number one. And the second one is it is also the approach of the competence-based training or education, which I know that is very resource demanding. And it means our budget has to go up for our education system. Maybe how is that being addressed? How much do we expect an increase in our education budget? Because I know the competence-based modular training or whatever is highly resource-based and very financially demanding as well. Mm. So those two issues kindly make us updated on those two. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chahila, for the very important question. Doc, let's respond quickly, then we take some more.
I'm happy with people like Mr. Chahila, because then we already now know that there are people who understand this.
That's right.
Mr. Chahila, yes, a competence-based curriculum requires a lot of resources, and this is a government undertaking with the highest political will from the president, who directed that we needed to reform the curriculum. Mm. And we are basically, of course, we have done the implementation plan and costing of what is required and the like. So these are issues that are being handled, I think, on a day-to-day basis. Of course, in terms of providing the much required resources. Mm. If you have been interrogating the government budgets, you may be interested to know that the allocation to the curriculum and teaching and learning materials has increased tremendously. So, but we are not saying that's the best, but government is aware of what it takes, and
they are responding.
Yeah. Then there was a caller who was asking about the reduction by 1 year, and
I think Mr. Chahila
is the same. Mr.
Yes,
Chahila.
It was part of his question, especially on the diploma part.
Yes, especially on the diploma, is saying if you reduce by the 1 year, and where does the year go?
I think diploma has not been 3 years. I think it's been 2 years, as has always been the case.
I think they are diplomas for 2 years, and some with 3 years.
But diploma is not affected by this curriculum, I believe.
Okay, the bottom line, whether diploma or degree, the bottom line is if someone has done the A-levels, because I think it needs to be clear.
Right.
If someone has done A-levels, I think it doesn't make a lot of sense to go into the colleges, because then the colleges, in terms of the content, it's just slightly above the A-levels. So the idea to go to the colleges for the A-levels is to ensure that you go to the university.
Yes.
Yes. So the reduction in the university, it should not be compared to
that of
the colleges, because then the colleges, those who go into the colleges, after they finish Form 4, when they get the results, they can go direct into the colleges. So that reduction, I think, should not be mixed.
Okay.
I don't know if you are clear.
Yes.
Yes, the A-levels at university, we are talking about university reducing by a year, because
A-levels have been pushed.
Yes, push to the schools, and the entry qualification will be an A-level into the universities. But we are not saying the entry qualification in the colleges is A-levels. No. We are saying when you finish Form 4, you can go to the colleges. Yeah, so I think that it doesn't affect the certificate and the diploma.
Right.
Yeah.
There's Daniel Jinga on Facebook who says, good morning, good show. I got a question. My understanding of all this is that now there is more need for more science teachers in some certain districts to implement the curriculum. So is there going to be more emphasis to recruit more teachers for sciences?
In fact, even before I answer this one, I think there was a question we didn't answer about the current grade 9. And when they sit for the exams this year, will they go into
a new curricula in grade 10? These are the ones that are going all the way to grade 12.
Yes. In fact, everyone should know that these that are taking the old curriculum, the grade 9s will sit for the exams. When they pass, they will continue with the old curriculum.
Yes.
And they will be the last, because they will be in grade 12
in
2028.
Yes.
So the current grade 9s are sitting for the last grade 9 exams.
Yes.
And then
these will be in grade 8 and not sitting for any exam until grade 12.
Yes.
So the last are these who are grade 9.
These were in grade 9
in 2025.
They are privileged. They are the last grade 9s, and they'll be the last grade 12.
And they will go on with the old curriculum.
Yes.
They are going
they'll sit for exams this year.
Yeah.
When they pass, they will go into grade 10 and all the way up to grade 12 with the old curriculum. And then with the competence-based curriculum, again, are we going to require more science teachers?
Yeah.
Again, it's just like the way we are now. Of course, we have to accept that. I think we have a challenge of STEM teachers. That's science, technology, engineering, and mathematics teachers. And it's true. Yeah, I think even going forward, that problem is still there. So there's need for more STEM teachers. Yeah, but we're not saying those are the only ones that we need. We need teachers for all the other subjects, but the gap and challenge has been very big on the STEM teachers, because I think
and under this curriculum, the new curriculum, STEM schools. So how then are we going to be allocating pupils to STEM schools? Is it going to be from the grade 6 exam that you will be able to start making selections for STEM schools?
Yes, and okay, on STEM schools,
yes,
of course, I'll answer even the other pathways.
Right.
There can be STEM schools,
right,
but even the STEM schools will have different specializations. We'll have natural sciences, STEM.
Okay.
Yes, then we will have those who are doing STEM, but specializing agriculture science.
Right.
Then we will have STEM schools specializing in technology, either design and technology or computer science.
Okay.
Then we have STEM schools specializing in economics and hospitality. So these are all STEM, but different STEM pathways.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
So at grade 6, then they will definitely be directed.
Yes, when they go to secondary school.
Yeah.
You remember?
They'll be directed
yes.
based on the strengths
Yes.
and specializations that has already been noticed from grade 3.
Yes.
At that point.
Sure.
Right. Great. Let me take some more calls to that effect. I think we still have time for some more. Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Zach.
Good morning to you. Thank you very much for calling us.
And morning, the guest.
Morning.
Thank God that I've started the long time I was going through. I wasn't sick.
Oh, we are grateful that you are here. You finally come through. Your name, sir?
Yeah. My name is Mishek.
Mishek.
Within Lusaka here in Kanyama compound.
Great. Please go ahead.
Yes. We appreciate the curriculum, sir.
Great.
It's a good thing that we start changing. And just learning grasshoppers and some history from countries where we can't even benefit. However, I really wanted to go through so that I express my concern.
Right.
I come from a rural constituency or a rural district in Western Province, a district called the Congo district. Now, the challenge that we are having, I don't know how it is working now, because most of the schools there, they have from grade 1 to grade 9. Because there are very few secondary schools.
Right.
They benefited a lot of learners. But the report that I got now, I think this week, for those who are crossing from grade 7 to grade 8.
Right.
So most of the schools where they were going, I am told now the basic schools have been scrapped off, so they have to go to the high school. And now, particularly in Congo, if you go to Nyungo area, the entire area, there's just one secondary school. It's a day secondary school, but because there are no high schools, so what used to happen was from grade 10, 12, they go the boarding house, not the boarding for the school, but where parents arrange and for the house
because of distance issues. Yes.
They cook for themselves and they do what.
Right.
Now, when they are going there at grade 10, at least they have grown up, they are able to cook on their own and whatnot. Now, these ones that have crossed, they are still very young. And now, most of them, they are stranded. As I'm talking to you, they are stranded because the place where they're supposed to go and access grade from 1, it's a distance where they should go and be in the boarding. And these are people who cannot manage to cook on their own, number 1. Number 2, I think we all understand the hunger situation that we have. So there are parents who could send their children to Form 1, but simply because there's no food, these people cannot afford. So we may have a situation, particularly in Congo, where we are going to have a lot of Form 1 or grade 8 who are going to miss going to school because of the challenges of hunger that we have, and also the capacity for these boys and girls to go and look after themselves. So my appeal, maybe, I don't know what I can, where I can actually go and take this concern so that those schools with basics, maybe the Form 1 and Form 2, they can also continue. The government is trying to do things better. Or maybe if they can say, whichever school had a basic school, it has to upgrade it up to Form 4. So that these learners, they don't lose out just minus going to school because of certain issues that is blocking them to go to school. I think that is the
for that. Allow me to take another call on 0955-221515 and see if we can accommodate another one. Good morning.
Hello, good morning. How are you?
Not too bad, thank you. Welcome to the program.
Thank you so much. You're speaking to me, Banda.
Michelle.
from the Zambia National STEM Foundation.
Okay, it's a bit loud on where you are, but we're struggling to get you. It's a bit noisy, but please go ahead.
Good morning, Dr. Ndakala.
Morning, Miss.
Yes, for me, it's good to actually upload the work that you are doing at CTC there. I think this is a long-awaited curricula, and we are so excited to start it. I was quick to note the statement you made about the lack of STEM teachers, which I totally agree. And I think we are equally, as a foundation, very concerned and making strides to ensure we complement with that regard. Otherwise, it's a commendable job that you're doing, Doc. And I'm personally very excited about this. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Great. Thank you very much, Michelle, for that. Yeah. Did you want to react to those?
Yeah. You may wish to know that I think the issue of primary schools and secondary schools has been with the ministry and government for a long time. If you remember, Mr. Sata had said, I'd made a pronouncement that he didn't want this issue of basic schools and the high schools.
Yes.
And in principle, a policy directive was made that we needed to have primary schools and secondary schools. And the primary schools were supposed to run the lower grades, that is grade 1 to grade 7. And then the secondary schools were supposed to run from grade 8 to grade 9, to grade 12. And again, it's the implementation which has been a challenge, because when you are implementing such policy measures, you don't implement just in a year. It's supposed to be gradual, and you have a transition phase. So we, in the implementation, the ministry had even planned that there was a time we needed to stop these basic schools from enrolling grade 8s, so that in that transition period, some of these basic schools could be converted to secondary schools by adding some facilities that they were lacking, because secondary schools require maybe things like workshops and laboratories, and that had started and again stored. Similarly, in answering to the concern that Mishek, I wish my colleagues, Director Standards and Director Secondary Education, could be here. But in the way we implement programs, we don't stop implementation abruptly. As government, we are aware. If we said all the basic schools this year stop, do we have adequate secondary schools to absorb all the grade 7s that are going into Form 1? I think the answer is categorically no. Of course, I know the ministry has built a lot of secondary schools, and especially this year, I think about more than 300 will be opened. But I don't think we can make such a decision as to abruptly stop the basic schools from offering Form 1. There's supposed to be a transition period, so that with time, yes, the basic schools, so-called basic schools, will restrict themselves to providing primary, and then we have also what is called secondary.
Right.
Yeah. Otherwise, if we don't address this is what brought in problems when we failed to, or when we didn't respond in good time to converting some schools into secondary and guiding on what they should be running. We ended up with combined schools from ECE to secondary, and we have brought big challenges into the education sector. So I think the government is going to guide with regards how we move forward. But I've not had any directive that these basic schools should stop enrolling the grade 9s, because if we did that, I think we are going to have a lot of challenges in 2025.
Well, Doc, we should be winding up on today's program. Let me, at this point, ask for your final words regarding this issue of the revised new curriculum.
My final words, maybe first of all to the teachers that we are depending on the teachers because they are the ones who are going to implement the curriculum on the ground. And we have put up structures and mechanisms in place, including the use of social media. We are going to have platforms for the curriculum change managers so that if the teachers on the ground have problems or challenges, they could share that challenge on a platform and advice or responses will be provided. And then just to assure them that, of course, I know some are wondering why they have not been oriented this time. This is why I mentioned that the orientation is going to take about 3 weeks. So let them be patient. It will reach them, definitely. Then to the parents, our appeal is let them support this very good initiative by government. And not only to the parents, I think even to the cooperating partners. What government has embarked on is huge and requires a lot of resources.
Right.
So if we leave it to government, yes, it will happen, but we will have a lot of challenges. So our appeal is to the cooperating partners to come on board as we implement this new curriculum. The parents as well come on board because in 1 or 2 cases, they may be required to support their learners, maybe with some materials that may be required in school. So my appeal is let's all support the curriculum, give it a chance. This is why when you are implementing the curriculum, there's what we have or what we call as the midterm review. So if we start implementation 2025, 26, 27, 28, 29 will be 5 years. So we can review, do a midterm review just to touch base with is what we planned working. If it is not working, are we able to modify 1 or 2 things so that we have an education system that responds to the needs of the country?
Doc, I would like to thank you so much for spending time with us, especially discussing this very important subject that we had, especially now that and now that parents and of course teachers have understood it from this program. We sure hope that everything else will sail through smoothly and that it will be easy implementation for you as well. Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you very much.
Well, listeners, that was our guest today, Dr. Charles Ndakala, the Director of Curriculum Development at the Ministry of Education, who was our guest. And of course, we will be back next week at the same time with yet another edition. But let me quickly make mention here that we are grateful to our partner radio stations that carried this program live on their platforms. And of course, that is Tuta FM in Mansa, covering Wapula province. Also, we're live on Mchinga Radio, that is in Chinsali, covering the rest of Mchinga province. Live also in on the Copper Belt, Chingola, and covering the rest of the Copper Belt, iWave FM Radio. And of course, in Ndola, we were live on Platinum Radio and Spice FM in Kabwe as well. And here in Lusaka, we were live here on 5FM Radio. I've been your host, Zachariah Banda. Until next time, it's take care of yourselves and more so of each other. Bye-bye.
Tune in next week for another edition.